Hey you guys! I'm doing my first video here on YouTube on Norse mythology. And the reason I'm doing Norse mythology is because the videos already on YouTube on Norse mythology kind of annoy me, because they don't talk about the things that I want to know. So I'm gonna try to make something that I would want to see. And I'm gonna start at the very beginning of everything, according to Norse mythology. So we start with this. This is Ginnungagap. And I think this is the most annoying word I have ever come across. Ginnungagap. Yeah. It basically means the yawning gap, or it could also possibly be translated to the charged gap. It is a vast space. There is nothing in it yet. It is everything in it. There's no sound yet. There's no silence. And there's no darkness, but there's no light. It just is. It's Ginnungagap. Yeah, sorry about that. That's it. And to the north in Ginnungagap, there is a cold place. This place is colder than cold. It's covered in ice and fog, I guess. Mist. Yeah, mist. Let's go with mist. And it is called Niflheim. I have no idea what Niflheim means. So if anyone knows, tell me. So yeah, Niflheim. And in Niflheim, there are two sources of water. One of these is called Verglamer. This is the good spring, I guess you can call it. This is the source of the 11 rivers that run from Niflheim. And these waters are not tainted, they are pure. The ice they form is clear and white. And then there is another source, which I have never found in any of the English sources that I looked at. But it is in this one. It's called Norse Mythology. The Viking era's gods and heroes, if you were to translate it, it's called. It's written by Brian Branston. So I'm guessing he's English. Probably in English somewhere. And in this, he talks about a source that is called Elivågor, which basically means the ice waves. And in these ice waves, there is a poisonous foam, which makes the ice black. My theory here isn't that there's actually poisonous foam. I would most likely think that it's the ice is mixed with the ashes from the other world in Ginnungagap, Muspelheim. Now Muspelheim, I know, means home of the destroyer of worlds. Yeah, so yeah, and some say that the giant Ymer was the first being. This is not exactly true, because in Muspelheim there's a kind of giant. He's described as a giant sometimes, but he's not really a giant. a Jotun giant. His name is Surt, or Surtur, whichever. And he is the destroyer. It says that he was there in the beginning, and he will be here when everything ends. And he stands there in the center of Muspelheim with his sword of fire, and come Ragnarok, he will fight on the side of the giants, and basically just decimate everything. So I consider him to be the first being in the Norse mythology universe. But as I said, there's a giant whose name is Yme. Not Ymir, as English people say. It's Ymer, okay, with an E. Ymer. Yeah. Or Argulmir. I never used that name, but yeah. That's what the other giants call him. That means the screamer from the depth, something. And Ymer means just the scream. He was formed when the poisonous black ice from Niflheim met the hot gas and cinders from Niflheim. No, that's not it. The black ice from Niflheim met the cinders and hot gas from Muspelheim. And I'm gonna have to stress that it was the black ice that he formed from. Yeah. So when the black ice melted, he kind of, over time, this is not like the, what is it called? The Christian Genesis story, where in 7 days God makes the universe. This happens over vast amount of time, like eons. And because the ice from Niflheim in the north of Ginnungagap had to meet the fire from Muspelheim in the south, meaning that they had to grow. And let's face it, ice does not really grow that fast. And I have no idea what the fire from Muspelheim actually eats or breathes, because there is no air and there is no wood, so there's nothing to consume, but it's still there. And so they have to move towards each other, right? This takes a long time. And the forming of Ymer is the same thing. It takes a very long time. At first, there's just this wet patch of nothing. And then there is mud. Then there is something that resembles a form. And then there is this huge giant that just lays there. No one knows for how long he just lay there. And no one knows when the cow came into the picture. Her name is Audhumla, but she was formed from the clear ice of Niflheim and the fires of Muspelheim. And she, when Ymer eventually wakes up, she nourishes him. He drinks from her udders, and she eats the white clear ice from Niflheim. And that's how they stay alive in this vast nothingness. And one day, when this cow, Audhumla, is eating, she encounters hair. And I'm guessing she's like, oh my god, let's lick some more, because this was just awesome. So she licks and licks and licks, and eventually, in like a day, after a day, there is the head of a man that she has licked forth from the ice of Niflheim. And on the third day, there is the form of a whole man. And she gives him milk, and he lives, and his name is... let's see. His name. I know his name. Let's see. Well, his name is Bure. I didn't have his note, sorry. His name is Bure. Which basically means breeder, father, or ancestor. There is some debate about that. Yeah. Anyway, there is some debate about what happens now. There's really no debate about what happens with Ymer, which is what I'm supposed to be talking about. Okay, so Ymer doesn't really have a sex. He's both male and female. And one day when he slept, there was a man and a woman who sprang forth from his left armpit. These were the first giants, a man and a woman. We do not get to know their names, just that it's a man and a woman. And his feet mated with each other and gave birth to a 9-headed son. Yeah, and for you out there that has given birth, just imagine the pain of having a 9-headed son come out of your big toe. Christ. Way off track. But that's the origin of the giants. And now here's the debate. Bure had a son, but there is debate about how this son came into being. Some say Bure simply breathed and the son, Bor, was materialized from his breath. And there are some that say he married one of the giants and had Bor. Now I'm saying Bor like I'm saying it in English, because that's one of the pronunciations of his actual name. It's mostly written like this in Swedish, Bor. But there are translations where there is 2 R's instead, which is Bor. 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 So, yeah. Let's just go with Bor this time. And Bor married Bestla. Spelled exactly like it sounds. Bestla. And they had, of course, 3 kids. These are Odin, the Allfather, we all know him. But he's also called Sigfader, which means um, fathers of battle father, something like that. Wotan or Woden. This is mostly used in South Europe, Germany and the likes. And his brother, Vile, also called Willy in English. There's some debate about if maybe he founded the Vanir clan. Nobody really knows for sure because he's not really in the mythology all that much. But that is one theory. And there's also they, eller Vea, as we say in Swedish, Vea. And demons. There are all these people now, giants and the gods. And what are they doing? Well, I guess you can say they are living, yes, in the nothingness, because there's still no earth. There's still no light. There's no sound. There's no darkness. There's no silence. And the three brothers, Odin, Vile, and Bea, they talk about the universe and life. And the giants, they kind of cause a ruckus. They are the noisy neighbors that never shut up. So Odin and his brothers go to talk to Ymir. Remember him? Ymir? About this. And they talk. I'm guessing civilized. Civilized. Because there's really no... either way. Ymir does not appear to agree with them. And he thinks that they are not very loud. So there's a squabble. Now I have heard versions of this Genesis story where Odin, Vile, and Bea simply thought, let's kill Ymir. Because we need his bones, we need his flesh, we need his blood. But I doubt that's really how it happened. And I say that like I think it really happened. I don't. Anyway, the thing you have to understand is that the Viking societies were really quite civilized. And I doubt that they would have their father god kill any sort of being without a cause. Because that would make him immoral in a way that wouldn't mesh with their sense of morality. So I'm going with the story where the giants are loud and Odin and his brothers come to complain about it. So there's a squabble that turns into a fight that turns into a very dead Ymir. And they drag his body into the middle of Ginnungagap. And Ymir is so vast that he basically fills up the space. And he has so many cuts and so many wounds that his blood pours out of him in oceans. So this is where our oceans come from. Oceans, rivers, lakes, everything is the blood of Ymir. And in this flood of blood, they accidentally drown the other giants, except for Ymir's grandson, Berglamir, and his wife. Now I've seen versions where he swims to a windmill and sits on the stone with his wife and just floats there. And some he finds a crate, a wooden crate, that he hauls his wife into, and they sit there like it's a boat and just wait for the water to recede. Or blood, in this case, to recede. Now here's my question. If there is nothing in Ginnungagap, why do they need a windmill? Where did they get the material to build it from? And also the wooden crate. Where did they get the trees from? Yeah, think about that one. That's a brain twister. But I guess it's just one of those fairy tale things that you just have to accept. Like a talking cat. It just is. Anyway, they survived. And therefore they are the ancestors of all giants. Kind of like all people of our ancestors from Adam and Eve from the Christian perspective. And let's see, they made the water from his blood, they made the land from his flesh, the mountains and rocks from his bones, the pebbles and sand are his teeth and ground up bones. And his skull was placed on top to make the heavens. But Odin and his brothers thought it was too dark, just having a skull. So they took sparks from Muspelheim and spread it across the sky, which is the stars. And this is something you're gonna have to know, because otherwise this does not make sense. This next part does not make sense. From the flesh of Ymir, maggots appeared, like they do in kind of all dead things. I know they don't just appear, but they will. So these maggots appeared, and over time they kind of developed their own consciousness and took another form, like a I was gonna say squat little man, but it really doesn't say that. It says something like a human-ish form, and Odin and the others called them dwarfs. So when they had placed the skull on top of the world, it took 4 of these dwarfs, and they placed them in the 4 corners of the skull to hold it up. And they were called Nordre, Sydre, Austre, och Vestre, or North, South, East, and West. And they also took a unnamed son of Berglamir, turned him into a giant eagle, placed him in the end of the world, and cursed him to flap his wings forever. And from this was the origins of the wind. And in this wind, they threw Ymir's brains. And this supposedly made the clouds. Yeah, I'm getting a very bad image from that too. They also made a wall around Midgard. There's some debate about what they used. Some say it was Ymir's eyelashes, some say it was his eyebrows. Either way, it was hair. And this was to keep the giants out of Midgard. So the inside of this circle of hair, they called Midgard. The outside, the edges of the world, was Jotunheim, home of the giants. Now, you guys should know that the word Jotun does not actually mean giant. It means something like devourer or something. Home of the devourers. And some say Odin chose this name because people were supposed to be afraid of the giants. But I really don't think people needed that to be afraid of them. I don't think they were very afraid of them. Really. But in any case, that was the origins story of Norse mythology. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you will click a thumbs up and comment below. If you have questions, anything, throw it at me. I will try my best to answer it. Bye, you guys. Bye.